these people. You see this picture, right? This is obviously like teenager, like early teen, right? And of course they forced me to look at this kid in the sexual way, especially this little girl. They tried to make me imagine her like a little bit older, like an adult. I'm giving her like a 15, 16-year-old girl, right? And the way they try to force me to perceive this kid in this sexual way is, it's not even a sexual. They try to make her look a little older and try to give me like the way you would be interested in the person of your age, right? And she's a very pretty young girl, pretty kid. But she's like a kid, like a 15, 16-year-old kid. But the way they try to make me perceive this kid is just nasty. And you hear these people talking, right? Because they're gonna frame me, right? These people have created a reality that's falsified. They make me perceive kids in all different fashion. Kids younger than them. I'm giving them like very young. I'm talking about 15 max maybe. And they can make me perceive in different ways. And this guy, right, using this different tonality, he's like, oh, he'll rape. Right? To them, it's like, oh, you see that because he's going to do that to you. This is you. Of course, I know it's what they do to me. And they're like, oh, you think she's very pretty? Yes. Like a 15-year-old kid. It's a child. But you're trying to make me perceive her in these disgusting ways. You've done that to much younger kids. And I'm sure, even that's whatever ways they can try to make me look at this kid in a more adult way, they're gonna try to. It's the nasty things they do. It's the foulest ways they can make you look at kids. It's disgusting, and it's nasty. It's nasty. It's just like they create these battles in the brain to try to get you to accept these perceptions, which is what they do. It's like, no, it's you, and they use this different tonality. Right? These people are renowned to force people to manipulate them to look at kids in these pedophile ways. That's what they do. Of course, I can see her as a kid, but I know they can make me experience that in different ways. And to hear this grown man thinking because he's using this tone of voice of how things are going to happen to me, that I'm going to subscribe to that. This bottom feeder can't even speak about a pedophile that picked up kids. And now I'm here being forced to look at this kid in these ways, and they're giving her like different ways of giving me like interest, like feelings. Now, very pretty kid, pretty young girl who's like 15 or 16 or something like that, and try to force me to look at this in these different ways. And they're getting mad because I'm able to express that, knowing that that's what they do. They are renowned to manipulate perceptions in ways that is foul. It's so disgusting. And they really are working my brain into looking at it in a way that she's a little bit old, like she's like maybe like a young adult, when she's just obviously like a kid. Before that, there's this actress that they try to mess with me. It's just so nasty. But that's what they do. And to hear these low lives, these bottom feeders that works day in and day out to try to get you to subscribe to this falsified reality, I'm not going to let them do that. And it's so nasty. In my mind right now, like, if you look at a video, you'll see how obviously she's a kid. Yes, even here I can see obviously that she's a kid. But I know in the video it will be even more obvious. But in my mind, they're trying to get you to look at her. They try to make me look at her in this like adult-ish ways. And that's what they do. And they try to have this back and forth. And thinking because somebody's going to harm me, I'm going to subscribe to this. Because you proved it? No, because you do the perfect type of torture and they do the things and they involved in the same thing that you are involved in. I will never let them live their fantasy. They're nasty. And then force you to experience these perceptions and be like, oh, no. And they're like white girls. Because they can make me perceive her as if she's an older kid. Like an older, like an adult, like a young adult. It's obvious that she's a 15. In my mind, they're actually making me having these battles. And you hear these bottom feeders. Every time they manipulate you and create those dialogues, they're like, like that is supposed to be like, oh, that's you. That's so nasty. But these pedophiles, that's what they do. To all my target video, don't subscribe to this stuff. Because I know that they have to manipulate literally my perceptions to make me see this kid in this fashion. And then try to gaslight you into accepting this manipulation. this trash, this slow life. I hope they continue to live this slow life. I'm glad that they do this thing and I can embarrass them the way they want, the way they should be embarrassed. To try to gaslight you by telling you what's going to happen to you, as if torture is proof, is validation that they don't do the manipulation. In my head, they're creating different perceptions. Thankfully, I have a picture. As a matter of fact, if worst case scenario comes, I can get into the video and obviously show the reality of things. This is what they do. It's nasty, but that's what they do. And then I hear these bottom feeders, these childlike people, they contract and say, castrate him. Right? Because that's what they think is going to make me subscribe to this. If you saw who just saw that, if you saw who just said that, you understand that these people obviously use childlike people who will kill themselves if they even saw me. But you hear the voice, castrate him, sounding just like that. I'm not even exaggerating. Tell me if this is not an obvious gimmicky trash who think that that's going to make me subscribe to these things. These people are pedophiles. They force people to see kids in these pedophile ways and think that castration and torture is going to make somebody subscribe to this nastiness. I'm glad that I die like this than live the life that this trash lives in. This fantasy. These bottom feeders that will be humiliated the day they see me in person.